Happy Monday night to you folks out there watching us live. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Doc Talk is up next here, and we got a breakneck speed show for you. Got a lot of guests stopping by, really cool content. We're going to talk about some of the local stuff we got going on here. We're going to talk about some national stuff with the All American. Got a couple awesome human beings and fantastic anglers from the All American Kayak Series joining us up there. And then we're going to wrap it out with the man himself, Mr. Brian Romans from the Romans Warrior Foundation is going to stop by. And as usual, that's starting to become a habit here, which I'm loving. Our co-host, old Jimmy Straws, is here as well, and he's going to help get us through tonight. So let's, without further ado, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up here. What's happening, folks? Welcome to the TPO Doc Talk podcast. It's me and Mr. Strawbridge. How are you, Jim?
You good yourself?
Peachy, man. It's Monday. Nice. Had a good weekend. How about you?
It was nice and relaxing, nice and quiet. Didn't do much. I've learned to kind of stay away from the public on weekends out here, especially with the sport that I enjoy. Right? I'd rather go shopping for socks than go to a lake
on Amazon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I feel you, man. I was a little reluctant to head out on a Sunday morning with the boys, but a couple of TPO Pro Team members there hit me up and wanted to hit up the group and wanted to go. And I'll tell you, man, I've been doing some soul searching lately, and I think I'm slowly unraveling what has happened to me, and so I knew I had to go. I wanted to just go. Don't worry about content. Don't worry about anything. Just go fish and go hang out with a couple guys that I love and respect, and just go have fun. And so I was worried though, man, because it's like Colorado on a weekend. Ugh.
No, you went to a good place. We won't mention it, but we know.
Right.
You went to a good place.
Yeah, it was not crowded, and that's why we won't mention the name of it, so that way it doesn't become crowded.
We're selfish like that, all you listeners.
Colorado, we gotta be, dog. Water is gold out here, right?
Yeah.
Good water.
Yeah.
So
if I put a fish in this bottle, I could treat it as a private pond. I could probably get 500 a year.
Right. No kidding. Our two guests coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. These guys don't know that because they live around like epic bodies of water everywhere they go. Out here, man, we're in the desert, dog. So we get that water out here that's got fish in it. It's like, hold it close. We turn into Smeagol all of a sudden out here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't ever want to hear those guys complain about a fishery anywheres around them.
Right.
Ever.
I always tell them that. I'm like, oh, it's a rough day, is it? Come home with me just for a week, man. We'll talk about a rough day.
Yeah, the guys at BASS yesterday at the Smith Lake event, that Taku one, they were complaining about the recreational boat traffic, and like 3 boats buzzed by Robert G. And I'm like, 3 boats? That's it? They're 200 yards away? And 2 were a pontoon and 1 was a wake boat. But come on. And they thought it was a big deal. I'm like, man, you want to make content? Just come to Colorado on a Saturday in a kayak and go to Horsetooth, go to Chatfield, go to Cherry Creek, go to Pueblo and sit in the middle.
Make sure your will is filled out first, though.
It would be great.
But I will say, Missouri, dude, they know wreck boat because, I mean, like Ozarks, Lake of the Ozarks is just nothing to play with. I fished that stuff like a weekend after Memorial Day. There was a BFL that happened, and dude, I'm going to tell you what, it took me like 40 minutes, 50 minutes to get to where I wanted to get, in the morning because I was wrapped up at 70 mile an hour. No problem. Coming home, it was like a 2.5 hour deal. I just about missed weigh-in because it's just, plowing, through 5-foot rollers out there. It's like, good night. This isn't a lake. This is an ocean out here. And it's just from all the, woo, party goers
Right,
and
right.
massive yachts.
And
So,
add alcohol to that mix. That's
ooh,
what gets dangerous, right?
oh yeah. It does make for some interesting scenery out there, though, I will tell you
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. That's where Hold My Beer came from, right?
Right? Well, we got a few minutes here, man. Let's talk about it. CKB's kind of been on a break. We've been holding down here. There's a lot of chatter, though. We're talking about next year. There's a lot of lakes being thrown up in the air. One of the things we're doing here on the podcast, and I've been reaching out even right up until the very end here, before the show started, is I'm reaching out to all the neighboring states from Colorado here, like Nebraska and Kansas and Utah and New Mexico and Arizona, and just hitting. We talked to Nevada last week, hitting these states around us, talking to these other clubs because one, it boosts their club up, gives their club a voice because there's not much love out here in the West for us. Kansas, Nebraska gets a little bit more, but still the Midwest doesn't get near as much press as it should. Um, and what's funny is that for like Nebraska, Kansas, I mean, we go in there, right? We go to those places because we know, dog, we can drive 2.5 hours to a so-so place, or we could go 3, 4 hours with the potential of smashing into some 2021s, here and there, which we don't get that out here in Colorado. So
No.
that's some cool stuff that like I said, we've been chatting about, talking about different things for next season. What are your thoughts on that looking forward, man? Anything that you can spill at this point, or I know everything's still preliminary and
Yeah, I'm
but
I'm looking at the schedule. There's three or four of them that are organized in my head, and one really sticks out. Um, but we're gonna. I'd like to have during this downtime between our next event. I'd like to get all of us together again and do a little dinner thing and go out and hang out and let's talk about what you guys want from next year's schedule too, because I want your guys' input.
rock on.
Um, there's it's going to change up though. I can tell you that it's going to change up. That's the thing. It could go one way and it could go another. I've got extreme where we go to some things that we haven't been to, and then I kind of do a 50-50 mix, and then I'm throwing in some onesie twosies, but keeping the good ones there
Yeah,
as well. So I just want to get all your guys' feedback on that. But it will be definitely heavy Nebraska and Kansas again. I can say
sure.
that.
Well, I mean, and I'll say this because I'm not a part of the CKB, short of just being an angler and somebody who loves what you've built there. But I'm not behind the scenes with anything on this. But I will flat out say it. Even looking at when I was looking at doing some things for next year and becoming an owner of a couple ideas of possibly a series and different things. Bro, getting a permit in this state, in our home state, is an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
They've made it so unbelievably, ridiculously, unneededly challenging, and then add on to that a couple counties that will be professional enough not to blast on open air, but the counties that jump in there, 24-page application to host a kayak tournament.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is why there's guys like me running around going, yeah, we are Eastern California these days, guys, and that's absurd. You
Yes.
want to tax and you want to charge a fee because someone said the word fee. I can't even begin to be in your shoes, man, and try to do something like that. So I don't blame you. Let's go to places that like anglers,
Yeah, no,
and that
and I
have
feel,
fish.
we still are Colorado Kayak Bassmasters, so I feel that it's important we have some events in our state, right? That's kind of important. I really feel strong about holding our championship in our state. I know I'm going to get some slack for not holding the Wyoming one in their state this year, but it was such a quick thing that came up.
Yep.
But I will say next year it has been announced. I do run the Wyoming Kayak Bassmasters as well. We are going up to Gray Rocks for the qualification for the WKB state qualifier next year. I don't have a date yet. I'm working on that, but that's going to be part of the meeting. I want to talk to all you guys about that.
Oh yeah.
I did just post, I didn't know if you know it or not, Denver Bassmasters, give them a little shot here. Those guys just came back from McConaughey and on their boats. The co-anglers are putting up 14 pounds.
Wow.
Winner put up 17.
Okay.
So little hint, nudge. There's some stuff on the schedule next year that we're looking at that could really blow this out of the water.
Flanagan and I were talking, and I threw this suggestion out there too. Is the only worry about McConaughey is the weather. You just
Yep.
never know what's going to happen with that wind. It can come out of nowhere. It can pick
Yep.
up. So here's what my thought was. Just a little suggestion. Bank it a 2-day weekend.
Yep.
This is our 2-day weekend for the championship, and we're going to have the champion or the event, and we're going to have the event on one of these
Yep.
days.
Yep.
Saturday, if the weather is clean and good, that's our go-to day. But we're going to put it on the schedule though that if the weather goes ass and we try and it goes, starts gusting 30 up there, we will delay and launch on Sunday.
Correct.
And
Book
if
that whole weekend.
Yeah, just tell
Yes.
people up front that for
Yes.
this event, plan on 2 days. And that way, if we get the event in and you're still up there for Sunday, shit, hang out, go
Yeah.
do a handshake derby, go have
Yep.
fun, or
Yep.
hit one of the other places that's an hour or so away from McConaughey,
Yes.
just
yes.
something.
That's definitely going to happen for the 2-day. Pick the weekend and pull a permit for both days from Nebraska. Let them know that, hey, we're not doing 2 days. We're just going to pick one of those two, just so they're clear about what's going on and they're not on alert for kayakers out there. Here's another
Right.
thing. After looking at that on the schedule and thinking about putting it on there, I did some real research on McConaughey. There's a fair amount of ramps on that north side. There's a couple on the south, and there's one or two that are far west that you could get to depending on water levels, but at least one or two or more. So really, if wind direction comes out of the north, most of the guys will just go up north and we could launch. So we could still hold an event. I feel like there's enough launch ramps where we could get out of a windy situation if it comes down to that at McConaughey and still
Yeah.
be safe. But we do have to keep safety in mind. But yes,
For sure.
that's a great point. We are going to pull the permit for 2 days. So I'm going to suggest the anglers book that weekend.
Yeah.
If you want to fish it.
And then if, kudos if you need to get home, cool. It's just that way it gives us that flexibility and everybody knows in the schedule there. So we got Craig saying, hey to us, what's up, Craig? And Mr. Collins, who's out in Topeka right now. And he says that place is something. That's one of the words you can use. Flanagan throws in all 6 in Kansas, Nebraska, and what the hell? Let's go to Texas for one.
Man, easy, grasshopper, easy. We'll get there. Tiny steps, little time.
Exactly. Craig says, can we change the club name to Regional Kayak Club?
Yeah. Well, I thought about Rocky Mountain Bass Series or something, but
Right.
we got to keep it in the state for that qualifier because that's what we're about. We want to go to that Bassmaster Kayak National Championship, otherwise known as the Bassmaster Kayak Classic.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And yes, you're right, Collins. Nebraska was a blast. Appreciate you guys tuning in here. And for you folks tuning in live, thank you so very much. We appreciate you. Love seeing that viewer count start to rise up. A lot of folks coming in from the YouTube side, Facebook side. That's awesome to see. If you're watching this recorded, thank you so very much. Don't forget, run over to YouTube real quick and smash that subscribe button for us. That would be awesome, awesome. All right, brother, let's switch it over here. We got the guys in the wings here, and we're right on time, keeping the show moving. Oh, what's up? Here we go. The man, the weatherman. What's up, fellas? Ready from Norton?
Oh,
Hell yeah. Planning on maybe trying to sneak over there, coming up here before the event just to kind of get a lay of the land. That way I don't need a couple extra days for practice when we take a look at it. But
that's right. You weren't there last year, were you?
No, sir. I had, I think we had an All American event that I had that we were working, that I was learning under the Yoda himself, Mr. Josh Booth.
Yeah, so, nice. You're going to like that place.
Josh really is more of an Obi-Wan. He's too tall to be Yoda. There's no doubt about it. So for sure, Josh is definitely an Obi-Wan. Yeah. But speaking of the All American Kayak Series, the boys were just out. We went to the farthest east stop that we had this season so far, and it was at Kentucky Lake. Bucket list location. Still kicking myself in the tail for scheduling and junk popping up that kept me away from making that run out there. That was one of the few, like I said earlier on in the shows, I was really looking forward to that one, man. I've driven over top of it so many times, heading down from Minnesota down to, down south, and then from here heading to Tennessee and such. So I've seen it so many times, and I saw it out there. So in seeing how it's really coming back, I was really looking forward to that. But nevertheless, 2 guys that did make it down there and put a hurtin' for certain on them are Mr. John Denton and, of course, then our champ, Mr. Chad Davison. Let's go ahead and bring these guys in here. Brother John, how are you, sir?
Good, man. How you been?
Still kicking. And there's the man himself, Chad, sporting the trophy there for all to see. Love that.
What's up, guys?
Too much, man. So yeah, man, you guys made the trek. You head on out there. I mean, and let's just punch this, 800-pound gorilla that's in the corner. Let's just punch him right in the face right now. The attendance was not great at all. It sucked.
No.
We're a little baffled on some of that. Some of it we're not. I mean, I guess we kind of understand some, but I will say this: there were attempts made to reach out to local entities in this vicinity and area, and for whatever reason, Facebook algorithm or however you want to call it, no response was ever given back. And I don't know how much that hurt us. I don't know what, but we did still hear all of a sudden that there was some people in the neck of the woods going, "Oh, we didn't know there was an event here." I'm like, come on, dog. How do you not know? It's only been published since like last year. And, we reached out. But nevertheless, whatever. It is what it is. You guys made the trip down there and you put a schooling on them. John, you started this thing off, man, and you come out the gates just swinging. Dude, you put up a hell of a tally on day one there for sure.
That morning when I pulled up there, you could just see them. They were everywhere. The mayflies were falling, the bluegill were up, and they were just eating topwater every time it hit the water. I mean, I think I got some pretty good video of it, so we'll see if we can get that out there soon.
Hell yeah. Topwater bite, that's tough to beat, brother. I mean, that's just fun fishing right there.
It was, man, and I wanted it to be a buzz bait, and I lost the first three really good ones, probably 2-3 pounders, and so I switched over to a prop bait, and they were in hell in it. I mean, down to the gullet.
I thought he was going to say he's going to switch over to a fly rod.
Right, I should have.
Wow.
Yeah. So they ate that prop bait. I've never had them eat it the way they did that day. Day two,
Wow.
they wouldn't even look at it. It was weird. So
Now, have you been to Kentucky before, John?
I did. I fished the All American 2 years ago down there.
Gotcha.
And finished ninth. We had a good attendance then. We had like 60. But
Yep.
I fished way south 2 years ago, way down past Paris. This time I stayed up closer to the dam.
So you were up on the north side up there.
I'd say about halfway, Jonathan Creek area.
Nice.
I was going to fish Barkley. That's where I practiced, and just got up Friday morning and went to Kentucky Lake just to say I did. I wanted to catch a smallmouth, and I just found them. Like I just landed on them by accident. So that's what I rolled with.
That's not accident, dude. You put in the time, you put in the work, and that's how you found him, man. That's awesome. So, all right, champ. So you see Denton come out the gates. He's swinging Hail Marys. He's pounding them there. Between this and the June monthly little acrobat stat, you just pulled off there. I don't know. I'm thinking we need to be looking for PEDs or something. Like we might need to test you here. We got to look at this. For those of you who are unaware, there's a dude leading the June monthly in Missouri with 105.5 inches for the month. I mean, just putting a hurting for certain. Chad in a last minute deal, like a puncher's, like an old heavyweight who's got nothing but the power left, puts down a magical couple hours on the last day. Was it, Chad?
No, it was on Saturday, so it was the
Okay.
second to last day of the month. But I think I had about 98.5 inches for the month, and I was just going to go out and try to creep into second and maybe see if I could slide in there and hold on to second. I didn't feel like first was even really doable because, 105.5, I would have had to call every fish that I had on my stringer. And that's actually what I ended up doing in about 3 hours. I had a 22 and a quarter, 221 and a half, a 20 and a half, and a 20 and a quarter, plus another 20 and a 19 and a quarter that didn't make the cut. But it was
those little things.
Yeah, I didn't even measure those, but
I'm just guessing 20 on that one.
Yeah, but it was pretty amazing. So you can't really plan for that. Sometimes it just happens when you least expect it.
Living right, dude. You've done some good karma somewhere, man, and it's coming back to you there for sure.
He makes a habit of coming in the last minute.
Right? I think you
Yeah.
said it best, John. You put a when I we the last time I saw on the board, you were still up in the lead, and you had called, and you were gaining on day two. There, you had put up even more numbers. It looked like, and then you made some statement in there, Chad, the fish whisperer, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way, is Davison making a run at him here? And then sure as heck.
Every time I'd move up an inch, he'd move up an inch and a half. And I just knew it was coming. So, and I couldn't, man, the
Yeah.
last hour, I got a video of it. I broke my rod hook on a hook set, and I think it was the fish I needed to like even get close. And when the rod broke, he came off. But the last hour, I could not put one over 15 inches in the boat. I think I got a video 8 in a row under a bridge, 8 casts in a row. I caught 8 bass, and every one of them was between 14 and 14 and a half inches long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
So
There was
Chad,
a
that way.
ton of little fish. I mean, and some of them were like tiny, tiny little. I mean, 4, 6, 8 inchers, a lot of those. But it seems like there's plenty of fish, but trying to catch those, 15, 16, 17, 18-inch fish is not easy. That lake is still coming back. It's definitely coming back more than it was, but I feel like it's still got a little ways to go to get where it was at before.
right.
Yeah, I caught one on a 10-inch worm, and it didn't even have the hook in it. He had swallowed half of it up to the hook, but he couldn't fit the hook in his mouth. And I reeled him in with it just hanging in his gut.
His crusher had the worm, huh?
Yeah, I caught over 100 bass in 3 days. It was on fire for sure.
Now,
Horrible.
Chad,
That sounds horrible. I would never want to do that.
right,
Yeah.
right.
It's not Colorado, but we'll take it.
Yeah, love it.
So Chad, what was the game plan coming in? You've been to Kentucky before, yes?
One time, same All American Kayak Series event that John fished 2 years ago. I ended up kind of similar deal. I made a run at the end and ended up finishing in second in that event. And I guess the lake kind of suits my style to some extent. I mean, has a lot of docks, which I'm very comfortable fishing around docks here, Lake of the Ozarks and stuff like that. I'm not super comfortable on rivers, but I just tried to find stuff that I fished. I fished down near the dam, literally, pretty much inside of the dam most of the event. I did start my practice on Barkley, had an area that I felt really good about, after my research, and I fished it for about 6 hours on Thursday, and I think I caught 3 fish in 6 hours, and so I abandoned Barkley, and I went over and hit an area over on Kentucky Lake there near the dam, and was able to catch some better quality there. So that's where I decided to fish, and I stayed there both days of the tournament. But the conditions seem like they continually changed, as they have a tendency to do, and so the bite changed each day. So you had to keep adjusting to try to figure out how to catch them. Seemed like practice was like slick, calm, and sunny with like almost no boat traffic, and then in the tournament it was like party central. There was boats everywhere, and the wind started blowing, and we had more clouds and stuff. So definitely the bite changed. And then on Sunday, I know some of the guys that fished down south didn't get it, but I was in a torrential downpour for about 2 hours.
Yep.
And so my bite actually fired up when it started raining on Sunday. But
Were you in the rain as well, John, down there?
Yeah, I had to change all of my tactics, and just out of a whim, I picked up a solid black jig, and they just started eating it. I caught that 19 and a quarter on the second cast for that jig, and so I just ran that, and it's going to be the ticket.
Now what was big bass for the event?
19 and a quarter.
It was that 19 and a quarter. That's what I was thinking. It's for some reason that stuck in my old brain. So yeah. So you got
2 years
second.
ago, it was 26 inches, if I remember correct. Jordan Westerman
Yeah,
caught a 10-pounder.
yeah, and he lost another great big one too. He had a hole in his net, and the fish swam out of the hole in his net, or something like that.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Good night.
He put a whip on us that year.
yeah.
Larson, who was also at the event there, puts in the rain missed me most of the day on Sunday, so he must have been a little bit more north. Was it? Was it south that was getting the rain, or was it north that was getting the rain?
North.
North.
Yeah, it was north. My buddy Chris Robbs fished down around Paris, and he said he didn't get any rain down there.
Gotcha. So we got our man Matt Collins and Mr. Old Town Chad. He ready to take our money at the Classic again next year? Colorado anglers supporting Chad's swim bait habit.
I just want to beat Arkansas again.
Right. I mean, you guys, that's a heck of a throwdown. That it's so cool though, because it's still in jest. It's still in a great sense of camaraderie piece that's going on there. But it is a cool, good little rivalry you guys got fired up between Arkansas and Missouri.
They have some incredible anglers down there. It's always a tight competition, and of course there's plenty of other clubs that are fishing with this tournament that have great anglers, but seems like a lot of times it ends up with Moyak and the Arkansas guys up there, and so it's a fun rivalry.
For sure. Well, that's some good stuff. So, John, you took second place and Big Bass. And not for nothing, man. The way Mr. Booth works those payouts and so forth, I was looking at that the other. It's it wasn't great, but dude, it was still better than a sharp kick in the face. You know what I mean? I mean, first place brought down over $1,000. And second place with the Big Bass money, I mean, salvaging through. Josh works his ass off to put this, thing together to make this series about the anglers. One of the things we've come to find out that we're, as we carry forward, you two guys are definitely part of that core group that's willing to travel and go around to different events, around the Midwest. But one of the things that we most certainly need, and I think this is going to be really emphasized and maybe exploited going forward, is that local club support. Other national, series they pull nationally, right? Bass and Hobie are going to pull Bass and Hobie people. That's just the way it is. They're the name, they're the big show, With the All American and it being a regional national type deal through the Midwest piece, we really, really rely on that local club support. The local areas chipping in and jumping in here with us for sure. So
yeah, there was 13 other guys from Kentucky that were fishing the Jackson series. I ran into 3 of them and asked them if they were going to jump over with us, and one of them told me he wasn't on the fish well enough to spend more money.
Yep.
And so, but it would have been nice.
I think that's what it is. In all honesty, I didn't believe that at the beginning of the season, but after I'm a big enough person to admit the fact that I didn't see what I see now, and I think that's probably what it is. It's the money factor.
Well,
times
did you
are
see
tough.
Hobie today?
No.
They had 50.
Wow.
That was it. That's and that's a big deal. They got a lot of money invested, and they only rallied 50 this weekend. So.
Well, the week that we had our classic, we put up 189 guys, which for us was actually lower than what we did the year prior.
Mm-hmm.
And that same time, Hobie put up 44 anglers down in Texas. And, I want to say 15 of them were local. So it's not bashing on Hobie by any measure. That's not the point of this. The point is, I think we're seeing it across the board, man. I think there's less and less to go around, right? And so I think Josh knows that. We've all talked about it, and so I think he's got some cool plans for the All American next season. My work with the TPO and Romans Warrior Foundation is going to pull me out of being able to do the level of work that I was doing this year for sure with the All American. We've got some projects that I can't reveal just yet that are in the works that we're going to be looking to get boots on the ground with. And so I'm still going to do any and everything I can. This is a series of love. I love you guys and want to continue to, boost this as much as we can. But at the end of the day, the TPO is definitely where our mission's at. And I got to make sure that I'm focusing my energies there for sure.
Absolutely.
So, Chad, I want to give you guys both an opportunity for this because if it's not for the anglers supporting the series, it's also those sponsors that stand behind the anglers that make life easier for us to go out and compete and travel around, man. And so I wanted to take this chance just for both of you, just and I don't care if it's family or whomever, just people that support and make it possible for you to make those trips, go around and doing what you're doing, man. Who would you like to shout out there, Chad? Take his whatever time you need, basically. Who's taking care of you?
Well, I mean, I definitely want to say thank you to you and Josh for the work you guys put into this series.
And Troy
I
Inky.
know,
Troy's behind
yeah,
the scenes. He does a ton of
Troy
work.
is Troy is always back there, same as Mo Yak, and he's never one to take credit, but you're right. He's always there, and he's easy to forget about because he always works behind the scenes and
He's a
just
ninja.
kind of hangs out back there and doesn't take credit. Um, but anyway, thank you guys for all the work you've put into it. I know it's a ton of work, and regardless of the numbers, the series is extremely well ran. It's a lot of fun. Everything runs smoothly, and I think, just keep making adjustments and we'll get everything dialed in where it needs to be. But I gotta say thanks to my sponsors. I got fortunate to have a list of them, but Old Town, Everhart's Outdoors, Dungarees Clothing, Apex Tackle, H2 Bait Design. Um, oh, I'm working with a new company called Max It Out LEDs. They make a boat like a pole light with a flag for your kayak, and it folds down, stays mounted on your kayak. It's a really awesome deal.
Got to
Something
check that out.
uh, it's definitely worth checking out. I've ran almost all the different lights, Yak Attack and Yak Power and stuff, and this light is by far the favorite one that I've ever used. Um, but I'm fortunate to have lots of great sponsors, and I'm grateful to all of them.
For sure, man. And you do a hell of a job, brother. You set the standard for the guy that's out there, wanting to take it to another level, not just the hobby side, but actually going a little bit further with that, man. And you set a great standard for that, brother. You do a professional job out there, and it's awesome to. I pay attention to what you say. I got a bucket full of those damn buzz baits from last year that you whooped everybody's ass with. I got a bucket full of those. I still haven't whooped nobody's ass with them, but I'm trying. I'll tell you that.
Hey, something else. I almost forgot Council Bluff Crankbaits, and he's a big sponsor of Moyak. And you're talking about buzz baits. He has this plopper. If you like to throw ploppers, it's different than like a whopper plopper. It's a little bit more streamlined, and it has a different sound to it. It's something that the fish haven't necessarily seen as much, and it sits a little lower in the water, so you get a better hookup ratio. And he'll paint them in any custom color you want, or he has a bunch of great custom colors. So check out Council Bluff Crankbaits too.
Have to. There you go, Strawbridge. I think we got ourselves a secret weapon.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get.
All right, let's move on to Mr. Denton.
You
Who
know,
you
man,
got, man, that's taking care of you?
this year I kind of bailed on everybody. I called. I had a few sponsors last year, Razor, and I just let them know this year that I'm more of the hobby guy. I do this for fun, and I do it so I can get on here every now and then, and people know. I want people to see me on the scoreboard and be like, "Damn, Denton's here this weekend."
Right?
But outside of that, I'm not really trying to make any money at it. It's my decompression time. But Kistler, if I could say anything good about anybody, I broke my rod down there at Kentucky Lake on Sunday. Wednesday morning, I had a new rod in my house.
Wow.
$20 shipping. They replaced it. $200-something rod, and they sent it the day I filed the warranty. I mean,
That's awesome.
fishing it a minute ago. And then Council Bluff crankbaits. Every time I buy one from him, he'll send me another one and tell me to, do good in my tournaments. He's a great guy, man. Can't say more nice things about him. And then I'd also like to thank Chad, man. He's the #1 competitor in our league. And I can text this dude and be like, hey, man, I'm losing all my fish on a buzzbait. What am I doing wrong? And he'll be like, what rod are you using? Switch to this rod, switch to this line. Or he watched a video of mine. I lost a big giant smallmouth, and he immediately texted me, hey, man, your hook set was weak with that chatterbait. It's a big hook. You need to really hit him. So even though we're competing, he's never hesitated to help me out. So
That's
thanks
awesome,
to Chad,
man.
being a good sportsman. So I don't mind getting beat
Well,
by Chad.
Right?
I
It's
don't
going to
mind
happen.
getting beat by what's his name, Tyler. But
Right.
I mean, the fact that John says that after, I came from behind and beat him kind of at the last minute with a lucky catch, just shows what kind of a sportsman he is. Because, at the awards, he was super gracious, even though I know he was really disappointed. And he has been fishing the All American Series from the very beginning. I think he's probably fished almost every event. I know he's fished most of them. And I've watched this guy
I
steadily
missed
every
one
year.
last year.
You say you missed one?
I missed Minocqua last year. That was the only one. So
Yeah, I mean, this guy's been putting in the time and the work, and I've watched him steadily get better and better, every year. And now, he's, pushing up right there at the top most of these events. So, I mean, hats off to him. He's a great angler and a great sportsman. So, nothing
appreciate
but
it.
love there.
And I will say this too. You guys, for one of the first two people I ever met in the All American when I first started fishing the All American Kayak Series was Troy Anke and John Denton. I met them at a ramp at Wilson. And that was my first introduction to actually some guys. I met Marty Hughes at that same event at a campground. I met Jeremy Brandis and Tim Gurley at the hotel because I had to bail from camp after a typhoon wiped me out. I had to move on from there. And it's been that way through and through. And folks, if you're on the fence, there's no fence to be on. The All American is full of amazing anglers that are fantastic competition, but they're also just great people, man. And it's a pleasure to be around you guys and to work with you for sure, man. It's a
Can I
ton
give
of
one
fun.
more shout out?
Yeah, 100%.
Eco fishing, man.
Right?
I was at the classic this year. My trolling motor broke on me, and I went up there to see if they had a plug, and they just gave me a motor off their kayak.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ordered me a new one, sent it to the house, didn't ask for payment. Like, it got here, and I was like, hey, do you guys want your money? And they're like, oh, we trust you. We'll send you a bill whenever. They're just you can't say enough about those dudes, man. They're solid as well. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And of course, all the families, man. So huge family support from everybody out there that puts us through. Listen, gentlemen, we got to bounce this forward onto the next segment. We got some guys sitting in the green room here. Want to get some of that stuff on there. But I'll be looking forward. We're going to be working with the Great Lakes Kayak Fishing Series for the Minocqua and the La Crosse events. But Minocqua is up next in July. That one's coming up at the end of July there. And we're going to be working in tandem with Great Lakes. We'll have Great Lakes. We'll have those guys come on the podcast here, talk about it, see if we can, we'd love to see those numbers come up. If you're looking for a vacation bucket list spot, Minocqua might be the place for you, man. It's some legendary fishing. Josh opened it back up to 50-mile radius again, just to, open it up for people, that were on, thinking that they're on the fence, that it gives them an opportunity to get up there. So that's awesome stuff. Go check it out. Jump in there. It's great payouts, worth your run. And you get to hang out and meet dudes like this. So, hell of a job, you guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules and coming on here and spending time with us.
appreciate it, Gene.
Yeah, thanks, Gene.
You bet, man. All right. All right, folks, we're going to switch this thing over. Before we do switch it over to the local stuff here, I want to just give some shout out to some people up here. We got some people chiming in. Nicholas Bertrand, what's happening, brother? Thank you for joining us here. Seriously appreciate that. And we got a gentleman here, Raptor Ranch, says, hello, everyone from northern Wisconsin. That's kind of interesting because we have somebody associated with the Romans Warrior Foundation that's Raptor 6 Ranch. It's a very close name, but not to be confused together. So what's happening? Thank you, folks, for joining in. Of course, our man, the legend himself, Mr. John Rapp, Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast, which is on tomorrow night, folks. Don't forget that. Paddle and Fin Podcast Network, Rusty Hook. You can actually watch the Rusty Hook on the TPO Facebook. We broadcast each other's shows right through our Facebook. So appreciate you tuning in there. Here's a definitely an OG from the All American, Mr. Mike Azar, talking about gas when we were talking about what's holding people back for sure. Money. Yeah. And like John says, money is tight. It is for sure. And definitely another staple of the All-American. Stoney made that trip up there. Congrats. Awesome job, Stoney. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, brother. Let's bring it back home here to Colorado. We got a man sitting in the wings here. We're going to talk about a benefit tournament that is coming up here. And this was you should see my calendar. I had this big star on this one. This is such a cool event they got lined up. Colorado Kayak Fishing Club has got a really cool benefit tournament lined up. I was there, man. It's like, here, this is going to be one I'm really going to get behind. We're going to promote the hell out of this for them. And, I can finally jump into some CKFC events. I love the idea. And then I was reminded, guess who turns 90 on July 14th? My mother, who lives in Minnesota. So we are making the run. We leave Saturday. We'll get there late, and we'll celebrate Mom's 90th with her, and then I'll be back on Monday.
Fly Mom out, stuff her in the kayak, and let's go.
Let's go, you old bird. Let's get out there.
90's nothing. Just ask me. Oh,
right. Well, let's bring in the man himself to help put all this thing together here, Mr. Jamie. And oh man, don't beat me up if I hope I'm not going to murder your last name. You didn't even type it out in your name deal. Sandarovich? Did I say it right? Let's find out.
Yeah, yeah, that's close. Sandrovich.
Sandrovich. Okay, I just added a vowel. That's all.
Yeah. All good. All good.
Well, welcome to the show, Jamie. Thank you for taking the time out and jumping on here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You bet. Just wanted to let's talk about this benefit tournament. Running a little bit behind here, but not too bad. So appreciate you hanging in, waiting for us. So let's talk about it. We got a big benefit going up in the mountains here. This is a Colorado staple, man. You're putting a show together. Talk to us about it.
Yeah. So for this is on the multi-species side of our group, and it's in, I'll say, the best location for multi-species in Colorado, and that's South Park. So Spinney, Mountain Reservoir, and 11 Mile, those are the two best places to catch big fish. So big trout, big pike. We chose that, again, because of those big fish and just because of the area and the draw that we get in that area. And we figured, charity tournament, we'd be able to draw some guys from the bass side, hopefully, and then be able to fill it up on the multi side as well because of, again, those giant fish. So
for sure, and the format is what really got me, man. Number one, you're doing a benefit for who is the benefit?
Yeah, Cast for Kids is the charity that the group picked this year, and so. That's a group that helps special needs children, supports their families as well, all through fishing. So it's a great charity. We wanted to do something for them to generate a lot more money. The one thing that I'll say I've been trying to do is something creative. There have been a lot of people that have talked about, hey, let's do a 2-day tournament. Let's do something that's completely different. And so the board this year finally approved, trying to do something like this. And, when we threw charity around it and, said, hey, 2-day tournament, let's see what happens. Let's try it. That was kind of the selling point, hey, we're going to raise money. We were able to package giving a kayak away in this as well. But yeah, the format is going to be 2 days. It's not a team event. It's a single event, but it's 2 days, 2 lakes. I think one of the twists, again, trying to be creative, trying to be different, trying to draw some folks in. You won't know which lake you're fishing the first day. We'll draw that the night before. So that's just a little twist that I wanted to throw on it. You can go out and you can pre-fish both lakes. You can do that 1 day, 2 days, whatever you choose. But the night before, when we do the identifier drawing, that's when I'll be picking, which lake everybody will fish at. On day one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so that keeps things, that puts a little bit of a twist to it. Nobody knows. You're going to be in 11 Mile or Spinney. You know that. You just don't know which one first.
Yeah. And how different, how different do those two bodies of water fish, right?
Well, and that's what I was just going to say is that, one day, Spinney, for instance, you could be impacted by the wind. In that area, you get a lot of wind storms that just come out of nowhere. And so, you could be on that lake and you could be off that lake by noon. And that's just something that might occur. But also, I've noticed too, just fishing both lakes, there's different colors that work on one lake versus the other. I mean, they're the same fish. They're attached by a river, but yet one, to Jim's point, one will fish a lot different than the other. And so you just kind of got to know that, or at least have a good strategy going into it.
I picture everybody waiting for the identifier to come out, and they're like this, and they're waiting. And the minute their name's announced, they run over to the rods and they start rigging up whatever they have spread out on the table. Like the left side was all Spinney and this one was all, oh, I got picked for Spinney. Now I got to start rigging up. That's worth a video right there.
Yeah. And like I said, that's I was trying to figure out what we could do that's just different, that's somewhat creative, and that was something that we came out with. Now the other thing too is no catch limit.
I was going to say you're doing it MLF style too, where it's as many as you can catch.
Yeah. So you can submit it. Our president has graciously volunteered to do all of the judging, but we are going to have, I'll say, a slot limit. So it's any trout that you catch has to be at least 13 inches, and any pike that you catch has to be at least 19 inches. Now, because of the catch board, 32 inches is the max, but 13-inch trout, 19-inch pike. The other thing too is that, like I said, we're giving away a kayak, and we're, anybody that enters the tournament. So it's $60 to enter. You don't have to be a member of either one of the series. You don't have to be a member of Bass. You don't have to be a member of Multi. So we're trying to open this up to really everybody, as many people as we can, to generate more money for the charity. We're giving away a native Titan X 12.5 that's been donated by Waterline Sports. So Waterline's one of our really, really good sponsors for the last couple of years. So it's about a $4,000 kayak.
Wow.
You're going to get an entry for, just like an entry into the drawing just for signing up for the charity tournament. You're going to get a ticket if you catch hourly big fish. So both days, we're going to keep track of hourly big fish. You'll get an extra ticket if you win that. The daily big fish, you'll get an extra ticket for that. Overall big fish for the 2 days, you'll get a ticket for that. Biggest daily limit, another ticket. Most fish submitted in a day, ticket, and then first place 5 tickets, second place 4 tickets, third place 3 tickets, fourth 2, fifth 1. So there's plenty of opportunities to earn, I'll say, more tickets to go into that drawing so that you have a better chance of walking away with that kayak.
That's awesome stuff, man. That's well thought out. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, I got it. Again, throwing out that idea and then just kind of working with the rest of the board and coming up with some creativity around it. It was, it was kind of a group effort coming up with all of that. So it was pretty cool. And then, we've got we've got some prizes that we'll give away, random drawings. We've got Dynamic Lures, who's also one of our sponsors. They're giving away rod and reel combo to first through third as well. So that's pretty cool too. So we'll have a lot of giveaways, a lot of fun activities, to again, be able to earn tickets and whatnot. But this is the first time we've tried something like this, 2-day tournament, charity. So it should be pretty cool. It's going to be a fun event.
Now, you say they don't need to be a member of the bass or the multi-species, but do they have to be a CKFC member to get in the event?
So CKFC member, you're joining the Facebook page, but in order to compete in tournaments, normally you're joining the bass group or you're joining the multi-species group. And so what we're saying is for this tournament, you don't have to join either one of those groups. You can just either be, part of the group or friends of part of the group or folks that just, hear about this and want to sign up. So really it's for anybody. And anybody that signs up has an opportunity to walk away with that kayak.
Truly an open event.
Yep.
And so for those people that won't,
I'm sorry, I was going to say multi-species. That's why we picked multi-species as well. It's wide open. Yes, we're going after pike. Yes, we're going after trout, but it's wide open, for folks that are, I'll say, more used to catching those types of fish. It just makes it that much more fun.
Collins is giving you a little bit of love here in the comments. So Jamie's got the face for radio, but sign up, everyone.
Absolutely.
So how do people sign up? Is it a Tourney X thing? Is it out at the CKFC website? What's the best way for people that are listening to this and want to get a part of this or at least donate in, a way to donate in? How do they do that?
Yeah, so it's set up in Tourney X right now. So like I said, cost is $60 to sign up. If you search for 2024 CKFC South Park Charity Tournament, that's what you'll find. You could probably just do CKFC and then you'll see that amongst the list of tournaments that we have. But once you sign up for that one, normally it asks for a password. We let that we cleared that out, so no password is required. You pay your $60 through PayPal. You're signed up and ready to go. If you've never done something like this before, obviously we encourage you to use this as your first time to check out a tournament and try a tournament. But Tourney X, that's the application the phone app that we use. So that's something that you'll have to download on your phone. That's something that you can use to register, and that's something you'll use to keep track of all your catches as you go. Now, I know most of the folks know that already, but for those that may be listening that don't, that's what we'll be using.
And the learning curve is very, very small, man. Tourney X is super easy to learn. There's a ton of support information online. They've gone to great lengths to make it as easy and pretty dummy proof, from the user side to get in there. So yeah, for sure. Or reach out to anybody associated with any of the clubs out there. We'd be glad to help you with Tourney X as well.
Yeah. And, the only other thing that I'll mention as well is that if somebody does sign up and they've not fished one of our tournaments before, we've got a set of rules that we have on our website. So Colorado Kayak Fishing Club.org, I believe, is the website. But we've got a set of rules out there for our multi-species. We'll go over some of that later as we get closer to the tournament. But, the most important thing, and this has been, circulating around a while as well, is just if you're going to fish these tournaments, you're going to be out on your kayak, you're going to be wearing your PFD, and you must wear your PFD. And if we don't see you, if we don't see you with it on, or we see you with it, taking it off, and you've got lines in the water and stuff like that, I mean, that's against the rules. That's against safety, and unfortunately, we would have to disqualify you from the tournament. But that's kind of you got to follow that one. So we want that.
And not to go down too far of a tangent, but there was this sentiment that if you mentioned PFD to people, that all of a sudden you were being this Karen. But right now in Colorado, we're on path for a record number of drowning deaths, for this season, man. And I'm sorry, stop acting like a moron, by trying to make fun
Yeah.
of somebody for mentioning a safety piece for you, because clearly they think enough about you that they want you around to remind you that put your PFD on. This is not, I hate, I'm a great swimmer. You're the first one that dies, bro. Okay, that's because that arrogance that you have is what leads you to realizing there's so much more going on than what you can handle. So thank you for bringing that up. I will gladly go there with you as well. I want to mention this, Mr. Collins, who is chiming in here. He is the host of the CKFC podcast, so be watching for that. Those are great shows that they put on over there. And they'll have more information, I'm sure, about the benefit tournament coming up here as well. They'll be covering a lot of the stuff that's coming up for that. And this is going to be an awesome, awesome deal, dude. And this sucks that I'm not going to be around for this. I'm really going to miss this, and I'm looking forward to watching the results and seeing it from range.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Is there, is there
just
a prediction of inches? How many inches you think it's going to take a day? Has you guys anybody talking about it?
no, nobody's really said anything yet. But I mean, when you figure, so we just had a tournament at Spinney last weekend, and the winning amount was like right around 103, 104. So that was just for 5 fish. Now
Right.
we're letting that go. So who knows? I haven't, I haven't even thought of that, Jim. Like, is it
Josh that's judging this?
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
And
There
do
better
we
be
have-
a bottle of wild turkey on its way to him already, man. Something to say thank you. This poor bastard is going to be working his tail off.
Yeah, exactly. And is there a combination of the fish that you have to run, or can you submit all pike or all trout, or do you have to have a certain amount of what?
It's just whatever you catch, man. You just, it's so yeah, you could catch 6 32-inch pike, and you're looking at 190 inches there. So
That's where my brain goes, and then run the rest of the day to build the numbers on the trout.
That's right. That's right. And I'm glad you said that, because that's just what I wanted to mention too. Again, I keep saying I want to bring some of the bass guys over. I do. I want to bring some of the bass guys over because, man, when you get a hold of one of them big 24, 25-inch trout, or you get a hold of one of them 30, 36, 35-inch pike, oh man, it's awesome. They're huge. And try and get them in your kayak, and try and get them on the board, and try and get a picture of them. That's where it gets really challenging. And so
with your current, no, you're right. And with your current bass gear up there, like those trout and those pike are big enough and aggressive enough where you don't have to go buy anything super small because you're going for trout. You can bring your bass gear up there and just absolutely destroy giant fish.
That's right. You're gonna catch some stalkers, so I'll give you that. And I'll even say you'll catch some small pike. I mean, I caught one that fit in my hand and just kind of stuck out. It was like a 7 or 8 inch pike, but
hammer handle. That's what we called them up north.
Yeah, but you still catch the 30-inch pike, the 35-inch pike, and then the trout. The trout are big and strong. Yeah, you're gonna catch a couple stalkers, but you're gonna catch some big, strong trout. So. Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Awesome stuff.
Well, listen, man, we appreciate you coming on here and sharing this. We anything we can do from the TPO side to help promo the thing, let us know. We'll make sure and share the stuff as we see posts come out. Just to kind of pick this up. This is a great cause. It's going to charity. Great organization all the way around the board, and you're gonna have a blast, dude, when you go up there. This is a cool group to hang out with. You're gonna have a blast if you jump in this.
Yeah, and I guess one other thing that I'm sorry I didn't mention is that if when you fish the tournament, when we do the drawing for the kayak, you need to be present. We're making that a requirement. One, we want to see folks' faces when they win it. Two, it just kind of pulls the community together that much more, having everybody there, even some new folks. So, so that'll be a part of the requirement to win the kayak. So
for sure.
So thanks for having me on, Gene. I appreciate it. This is great to help promote this event. I really appreciate it.
You bet, man. And like I said, as we get closer, definitely let us know if there's something else we can do. We're glad to chip in there, and we'll be cheering for everybody through and through.
Yeah, we'll do. Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Jamie. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
All right. So this, my brother from another mother has been waiting in the wings long enough. You folks have seen him if you've watched the TPO podcast for any amount of time. Let's go ahead and get him in here. You know, patience is not something you normally put when you describe a Marine, but you, sir, have been very patient waiting on us to get get to you. How the heck are you, Brian?
I'm kind of lethargic right now. How are you?
Did you find some gummies or something?
No, man. I'm gonna admit I wish, but no. I just found a really comfortable bed, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you, man, for waiting on us here. When anglers get together, we start talking fishing, dude. Every time the wife asks me, when's your podcast going to be done? I'll say 7. She knows 7:30, or 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. Especially it's, who's on the show tonight. She's going to want to know that.
Right. Well, I'm just sitting here. You guys are talking, and I'm like, this is like stereo instructions. It's whatever they're saying. I'm just like, yeah, I'm all about it. I really do appreciate. I mean, I love James. I love me wall back there. That's pretty awesome, man. I see all those awards.
Right? Mine isn't near as impressive. I've only got a couple things behind.
I didn't win any of these. I just had them made up and I just hang them up there. I'm the tournament director.
TV, huh?
I just add 6 more trophies at the end of the year and I just stick them on the wall and I look how good I am.
Oh man, Timu special.
Right. Well, good stuff. So, dude, you have been one busy Marine out there running around, man, and you went back to some familiar turf, some folks that had us there before. So cool seeing Oasis Power Sports, from there, and it was just, to me, man, watching your live video, brother. I felt that through digital space, man, because that moment, that recharge moment that we all talk about, that there's usually one event per year that hits you. Mine happened already this year on one of the first deployments when you came out here to the wall, man. I had my moment that fired me back up, ready to get this thing rolling. Talk with us about the event that just went on. We had the Global War on Terror out and providing some healing to a local community, man. That was some awesome stuff.
Yeah, man. So Oasis Power Sports had us back out here. The Black Diamond family of dealerships. We've been out here. This is our 3rd year. 2 years ago, we started with Black Diamond Harley Davidson. Last year, we were out at the Thrillbillies Ball Club for a little over a week over 4th of July. And this year, they brought us out to their outdoor power sports venture. And let me tell you, big shout out to that group. If you want anything outdoors, whether it's a bass boat, a pontoon boat, a john boat, a Sea-Doo jet ski, a side-by-side, a four-wheeler, something for your kids to run around in that you can control on your phone, you name it, these guys can get it. And if they can't get it, then they don't make it. I mean, they're just a phenomenal. And so what it is, and I'll fill James and some of the other listeners in, it's 2 college buddies, right? And they're so in love with their hometown that they've made some good investments. So they're pretty well off. And what they're doing is they're giving back to their hometown. They're giving back to Marion. So yeah, they own a lot of businesses in the town, but what they're doing is they're putting people to work. So a couple of years back, they bought the old mall that's over here in Marion. That's just, shopping malls that we know are done. Everybody wants these outdoor things, or they want to do it all on their phones. Well, these guys, they bought the shopping mall, and instead of having it demolished, they're renovating it. They're putting all their businesses under one roof. That way, it's a one-stop shop for anything that any guy or gal could want outside. It's all going to be under one roof. I mean, RVs, lawnmowers, weed eaters, Harley Davidsons, jet skis, boats, the side-by-sides. I mean, all of it. It's all going to be under one roof. So it's going to be a one-stop shop, mega outdoor fun store.
It's like a
Hell
never-ending expo.
Yeah, that's exactly. Everything's for sale,
Right.
though. That's the difference,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Touch it,
genius.
feel it, drive it, buy it. But yeah, we were out here at the Power Sports location, and man, we were just blown away. I think day before yesterday, we were just blown away, man. This guy walks up, a soldier walks up with his daughter, and he walks past our little fruit stand, if you will, and then he's walking really quickly in the opposite direction. And he's got some emotion running down his face. So Mike jumps up and he gives him a bro hug kind of deal. And I chase him down and hand him a flyer and invite him to come back like I normally do. Come back at night when it's just you and the wall, have your time. He's like, we live 45 minutes away. We saw this on the news. I wanted to come down. We'll take your time, man. No rush. You ain't got to do it alone. We're here with you. And next thing you know, he comes up and he says, I need to know when 2006, show me on the wall 2006 Iraq. So I took him over, I showed him where the time frame was, and I stepped back and I turned my head and I just hear the phone clicking away. Click, 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 click. I'm like, my God, no way in hell, right? Well, then Mike, this young lady walks up with her daughter and she asks to help find a name. And for all intents and purposes, just like in my other video, we changed the name for privacy. So she goes and she finds this name and she's rubbing her hand on this name on the wall with this soldier is on his knees, still snapping pictures. And he's beside himself and he looks up and he sees her, kind of does that side eye deal and sees her rubbing the name. He's like, well, how do you know Joe? Well, that's my son. And he just in a heap of a mess. And it takes a minute, composes himself. And then he starts telling this lady about her son's final moments, her son's final combat skirmishes, if you will, what he was like overseas before he died. And we've never had that happen at the wall.
Wow.
It was truly surreal. And then he stands up and he says, let me explain to you the severity of our deployment. And he's used the term, coined the phrase bookends. These two guys were the first two KIAs we had, and then your son was the last, and there's 43 names in between on our battalion's deployment. I mean, think about that.
My God.
And I don't remember if he asked to give her a hug or she asked him, but they embraced, and the heavy sobbing. And, Mike and I, we looked at each other and the sunblock was running in our eyes or something. It was just crazy. But, yeah, man, we were totally floored, beside ourselves. We were all a mess. It took a little bit of alcohol to wipe that away for us. I'm not going to lie, but thankfully she came back today and helped put her son's panel back in the trailer. She helped retire his panel.
That's awesome, man.
Wow.
And folks, I want you that are not around, or obviously you hear these stories, they're very moving and they do grab at you. The importance piece here is that this is what this wall facilitates. It facilitates this healing, because that's what you're hearing about, is the beginning in many cases of real healing starting to happen. Now, I know some people in lab coats and with far smarter than I am and bigger degrees are gonna tell you the healing comes elsewhere. But when you see it firsthand and you feel it and you see when people realize the importance and realize the connection is still there, and this wall, represents that we will not allow their names to go silent. We'll continue to say their names. We'll continue to run their names around this country so that every community hears and knows their stories and knows, of this information. That's what Brian and his entire family dedicated their life to, and what many of us, that he talked about Mike Gasparini and his wife and his family, Julie and I, and everybody else associated with this, we've all agreed that this is the mission we want to jump behind, man. James, you asked me a statement about, the how Romans Warrior Foundation and TPO, how we all meld together. So, and I wanted to real quick I'll tell you from my point of view, it's this. TPO does not exist without the Romans Warrior Foundation. Brian Romans and I got a chance to chat and talk, and I learned so much about the importance piece about making decisions and what is a priority in the world. The TPO was created with the sole piece here to give us a Colorado staple. Colorado's pretty rough on national nonprofits. They require as usual. Can you imagine this? Colorado requires a lot of crap from organizations to do business. Because that's what we do these days in our lovely state, which I love. Make no mistake, I love Colorado. It's like I said, it's the drunk uncle that shows up to the reunion. There's a family, we love them, but they're just doing a lot of embarrassing shit. So, but the point is, we created the TPO for that purpose, but originally I started with the Romans Warrior Foundation as the program manager for our field ops division, providing kayak fishing excursions to folks. So the TPO just rolled in. It made an easy roll in for the name of the Doc Talk. But the mothership to me, the home base, is the Romans Warrior Foundation. That is at the heart of everything. TPO is just the Colorado face, for that, where we can put our boots on the ground here and we can get out on the water here and we can do things. That's why we wanted to keep that, because having that local entity here in Colorado is important. It's important to a lot of people to have the native, connections, and that way people understand that while we are national, we are, this is one of our homes, for sure, here. So that's the only separation piece. But one other thing to keep blowing a horn here, this is where we bring these stories up about the Romans Warrior Foundation, the global war on terror. This is where the support comes in. Think through the people that you know. Think through organizations that you know that have funding, that have corporate funding, that have larger entity, matching donation type stuff through a large company that you work with. The Romans Warrior Foundation needs to keep this wall moving. We take this to little communities across America. These little communities don't usually have big budgets. This is where corporate America can help us by finding it within themselves that they want to actually do healing and they want to perform real work and not see it go to bloated, marketing campaigns and see it blown out the window. Help keep the wall moving. Go to romanswarriorfoundation.org. Connect with myself, with Brian, with anybody that's associated with this stuff. Get your organization in touch with us, because there's a lot that can be gained. And when people realize that you're an organization that cares about it, the people in this country that protect our rights to be able to do these kind of things, man, it's a I don't like using the word a noble cause, because I don't know if noble is the right word, but it's a damn worthy cause that's worth more than just about it. I mean, it's worth all of our family's futures. We've all banked on that. So
yeah, actually, it's funny, James. I tell the story, and Gene kind of corrects me every now and then, but it's my story. I'm gonna tell it like I want. 2 45-minute conversations, and I talked Gene out of a V-hull bass boat and put him in a kayak, and for some reason he's stuck with us ever since. He's drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak. But no, I mean, for everybody that's out there listening, I mean, check it out. You heard the story about the soldier and the Gold Star mother, and the irony is they live 45 minutes away. They didn't know each other until 2 days ago. Right. 2 days ago, they became family. They became family through the wall, through the names on the wall, through her son's service, through his service, and through the lives they both lost together. 2 days ago, we had a guy who lived 2 towns over who lost his brother. This is a really trippy story, so I want everybody to follow me on this. He lost his brother, his middle brother, in the bombing of the Marine barracks in Beirut, Lebanon. He has never seen his brother's name on a memorial, honored anywhere except for a street sign in his hometown.
And that was 1983 when that occurred.
1983. So he saw the news doing their live bit. He came up to the wall with his wife and his son, and he tells the story. He says, just like I just said, I've never seen my brother's name other than in our hometown on a street sign. I wanted to see if it was on this wall. And I'll be damned, my brother's name's on this wall. My brother was a Marine. When we got his remains, we were going to do the funeral, but we couldn't figure out the date because our younger brother was born on November 9th. My birthday is November 11th. My deceased brother's birthday is November 10th. Now, here's the irony piece that makes it all come together. 10 November 1775 is the birth of the Marine Corps. 10
God.
10 November is this young man's birthday, and the family decided to lay him to rest on his birthday.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just got goosebumps, bro. That is so awesome.
I mean, to be able to bring that closure to this family and to be able to say, hey, man, your brother has brought so much healing with this wall across the country for the past 10 years that it's been visible to communities, small town communities. I am thankful for you to come up here and know that your brother's name is going to continue to travel this country. He won't be forgotten. And we're going to continue to tell his story with each and every stop.
And it's almost every stop we get another story, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we hear from these local communities. When we were in Clinton, Missouri with the All American, when we were there, we talked. I still have our connections that we have from these
Yep.
guys from Clinton that we're going to be looking to the future of doing some cool stuff in the state of Missouri there, as we move forward and hearing about their stories about who's on that wall, man. And
Absolutely.
it's that motivating factor. And I tell people this, that hear these stories, let them, take them in, feel them. And then at the end of the day, like I said, help us. That's what I'm asking you to do. Help us find resources. We'll do the work, but help us find resources out there, folks, because this is about as blue collar Midwest as you're going to get. And that's the Romans Warrior Foundation. We believe in, rolling sleeves up, getting in the dirt where we need to, and getting the job done, not bloating stuff, not the overhead, heavy areas. Donations and monies that come into this organization go right to the divisions that they're either dog-eared for, or that that we need them with our operations to get rolling
right.
there. We've had a lot of people dangle carrots, but I'm still waiting to take a bite out of one of those damn things, right?
Well, and I tell you straightforward, it'd be great. It would be great if, well, actually, no, it wouldn't be, because I wouldn't want to do it then. But, I get a paycheck every month from the government. I get a government pension. That's my payment. Okay. Our staff is all volunteer. They all have their individual entities that they receive. Most of us are combat veterans. Most of us are retirees. Most of us are first responders. So we all have pensions, which allow us the ability to do this because we're passionate about it, because we love being able to share this. We love being able to help open that door to healing and walking that family member, walking that fellow veteran through that door and helping with the aftercare of ripping that Band-Aid off to start that emotional journey for them. I wouldn't do it any other way. I really wouldn't. I don't think I would be able to do this if we received a paycheck, Gene. It just wouldn't feel right.
Right.
Yeah, it'd help financially. It'd help pay the bills, but morally, it wouldn't feel right to me. And I'm thankful that I have people in my corner, such as you and Julie, Mike and Liz, my wife and kids, our parents, that allow us and believe in the mission just as much, if not more, than we do. And here's a challenge. I'm going to challenge each and everybody that's watching this, listening to this, that's going to play it back tomorrow. So we just left Marion, Illinois, and we had a guy walk up to Mike, and he's asking, what's our need? Well, we need a couple different things. Logistically, we needed a trailer that can house the wall and the David Cobb Memorial car all in one. We need a new wall. It's battered, it's beaten, just like a lot of us are. But so we had this guy come up and he said, hey, I'll tell you what, I will fund to have one side, the honor side where all the names are. I will fund to have that printed. So here's the challenge. I'm putting it out there right now to your followers here on the Paddle and Fin, our family, Paddle and Fin family. I'd like for somebody to come forward and fund the other side, the education piece.
Right.
Keep the education piece alive. Let's keep teaching our communities, teaching our children the things that are being removed from the textbooks daily, faster than we can stop them. Match that, and we'll be able to get a new wall.
Right. And if you've not had a chance to see this, the wall has two sides, education and honor. Education is the side where there's no politics, no BS, no garbage. It is real factual data from 1983 going straight forward. We are the only mobile memorial in the United States that's traveling dedicated to the entire global war on terror. Okay, there are several other walls that are running around that are beautiful, phenomenal, great organizations that are dedicated to 9/11 tribute and things of this nature. We are the only one, though, that covers from that 1983 when the global war on terror began, that bombing, all the way through to the withdrawal piece. all of that, and like I said, that education piece is highly needed. Like Brian just said, flat out. It's information's being filtered and taken away at breakneck speed, and it's horrible when facts are not being considered and looked at. But if you want to know why the honor side exists, you have the information sitting right behind you on the education side.
That's right.
And the twin towers, which basically north and south represent on the ends of the wall there, that piece there, they took a beating in over the last couple of years here from wind that's beating this thing up and just time. So yeah, the wall, she's looking a little weathered. We'd like to definitely have this thing in better shape. And the next version of this wall will be a little bit easier to move around, a little bit lighter, a little bit more wind friendly. Yeah, learning and evolving, each time, right? That's the whole point.
That's right.
Well, that's a hell of a challenge, man. And again, this is where it comes from. Look to those corporate organizations that have those matching deals where they have employee donations that are matched by the organization. Many times there's these corporate companies that like Ball Technologies, Coca-Cola, Walmart, these other organizations, or if you're involved in any type of IT world, a lot of times they have those type of things. And they look for organizations to get behind. Bring the Romans Warrior Foundation up. We'd love to chat with them, and we've got books to share and EINs to give, and we will gladly come in there and do a presentation to explain what it is that we do here with the foundation for sure.
That's right. Give me 15 minutes in a closed room, and I promise you, I'll have tears running down your face, and you'll be wondering, where can you help?
That's the recruiter in you right there.
Well, I mean, so at the end of the day, right? It's not about you, me. And Mike said it best. And I'm gonna echo what he said yesterday or the day before. Sorry, the days kind of run into nights, and they all run together. But every day is Memorial Day for our Gold Star families. You want to know what you're celebrating this coming weekend on the 4th of July? Come see the wall.
Yep.
That's the cost of freedom. It's not free. It comes with a payment. And the average age on our wall is 18 to 23 years old, young men and women that have stood the test of time, shoulder to shoulder, stood tall when they needed to the most, and made the ultimate sacrifice so we can have our burgers and dogs and go out on the lake and ski and enjoy the sun on a margarita and a cold beverage.
Kayak fish and all that.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but in kayak fish, and, have plaques made to throw up on your wall and,
and make no mistake, folks, when you hear these stories, when we connect with people across there, a good time is had. That bonding takes place, man. That tribal feeling starts to come back for them, and they can't get that in civilian life, and that it's just not there, unfortunately. It takes people that have walked, that walk. As much as I would love to try to, help certain people, when a combat vet comes up to that wall, I'm there to help as much as a secretary can type deal. But the moment they start getting into conversation, I grab that guy on screen right there, because he can share in that experience. And then I stay close as long as I think it's, not invading space, because I try to learn from these things quite a bit. And that's our role as civilians, right? As a non-vet, is support. And brother, let me tell you, it is extremely fulfilling to know that you're doing just a little bit of piece there. You get, trust me, you get as much out of it, you get more out of it than probably what we give, for sure. Because it's awesome to see the good times be had. Because we've had a few yucks along the way, Brian. I mean, there's been a few laughs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have. Well, and that's the crazy part, right? So most of the time you get, and I'm not saying everyone, but most of the time you'll get vets, because we're standoffish. We're type A personalities. We don't need help. We don't want your help. But then you get to crack that egg. You see that little fissure in the dam, and it's like, hey man, can you give me a hand? I'm like, yeah, man, we'll help you. And then we help find that name. And then once you see that crack kind of spread a little bit, you shove your foot in that door and you're like, all right, now I'm in. Now we're going to talk. You might not like it, but we're going to talk. And once we kind of break down that barrier, that's when we have that laugh, because we hear the crazy story about the individual that's on the wall and what they did prior to their demise over in Iraq or Afghanistan, and usually it starts off with this fucking kid, pardon my French, this effing kid, you never believe he did this. And then you're like, No, actually, I can believe it. Let me tell you a story about my knucklehead. And then, you share that laugh, and then you have that little teary moment. You do the bro hug, and everything seems to be all right. But then there's the follow-on care. And this is where it's really cool and unique with what we get to do, Gene, because we were in North Dakota 2 years ago now. Was it 2 years ago or last year? 2 years ago now. My other secretary, sorry. So 2 years ago, we were in North Dakota, and we had this young man named Corporal Kelly that came up to the wall. He didn't want to come. His wife made him come the first day. He stayed 15 minutes and left. He came back several hours later. He stayed for 30 minutes and left, and then he was back each and every day. He has contacted me once a month to check in, to make sure that he knew that I knew that he was okay, and he knew that I was okay, and that we were
Hell
going to
yeah.
bring the wall back to his community.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
The aftercare, the follow-up, and that's what our team does. It's really unique with every aspect, with what Gene does with TPO and the RWF Outdoor Field Ops, with what we do with the wall, our veteran singer-songwriters do the Stop 22 tour. When we all come together under the same umbrella, we're able to maximize the aftercare. Once we, for lack of a better word, we rip that Band-Aid off and we open that door to healing. We're in your face and you're part of the family until you tell us that we need to back off. I mean, that's how we
All right.
Yeah. So where's do you have a schedule where the wall is going to be seen next and the rest of the year coming forward through, the rest of July, August, September, October, November, or where can we go to take a look at something like that?
Well, I can send it to everybody except for you, James. No, it's on our Facebook pages. And it should be on our website, but I've got to get with our web engineer to be able to get that updated. But
he's a slow bastard.
Secretary, are you listening?
It's that guy. I don't know where I'm at on your screen.
Right,
I think
right.
It's that guy over there.
No, you're pointing at Jim. That's right. He handles all the technology for us.
No, you don't want that. Let me tell you that right now. I'm fired already.
That's right.
I'm firing
you're gonna have to pay in to get your pension, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, the current schedule, and there has been some little additions. Like last weekend, we were doing a thing for the Marine Corps League for the state of Alabama. But there is a schedule that's out there on the Romans Warrior Foundation Facebook page, and also the Global War on Terror Wall of Remembrance Facebook page. So those two pages, we saturate the hell out of them with what we got going on. And then you see some of the live videos once we're set up and whatnot. So this 4th of July weekend, anyone in or around the Flora, Illinois area, we're going to be set up at Charlie Brown Park in Flora, Illinois. And from what rumor has it, it's supposed to be the largest fireworks display in Southern Illinois that they have ever had. I don't know if that's coincidence because we're going to be there, or maybe they're just doing it. And I don't know. I'm going to take credit for it with the wall. Because
those things that line up again, Brian, that's what it is. Every story you've told me is something is lining up in the universe and bringing people together or something together for one particular reason. And we don't know what it is, but we all know what it is. Does that make sense? Like
it's that divine intervention, brother.
Right.
Yep. I mean, it's really cool. And then so we got a couple of really cool events. So we've got this one in Flora, and then we've got one potentially. Jimmy Burgess is still probably pissed off at me because I've got to give him a call about coming up to Joplin. So Jimmy, if you're watching or listening, I am going to call you within the next 24 hours. I promise. To come out there to Joplin, August or September, I think. I've got to look at that K9 deal he's got. But we're going to be in Robertsdale, Alabama, the third week of September. Nope, sorry, third week of August. So I'm telling you, they all run together. They all end in Y. The third week of August, and then the Alton, Illinois, at the St. Louis Regional Airport for the fly-in. We're taking over an airport. We'll be in Alton, Illinois on the third week of September. Wow. And then there's another something that's supposed to be coming up in October. I've got to look my schedule. I'm sorry. I was not prepared. I'm sorry, Gene.
No, that's all right. Check the Facebook pages. Check
the Facebook pages. Check the socials. Now, here's the really crazy thing, gentlemen. We've already gotten blown up for 2025. So our 2025 calendar is filling up, which is a good problem to have. We've already got a guaranteed event for Memorial Day of 2026 on the books. So again, folks, this is your memorial. It's not mine. It's not Gene's. It's not James. It's not the Romans Warrior Foundation. This is your memorial. You are the power behind keeping it moving across the United States. You are the power behind bringing it to your community and those communities in your neck of the woods, especially those Gold Star family communities. Contact us. Find out what it takes to get us out there. Let's rally the troops. Let's get the wall to your town so you can see your son or daughter's name, your fellow troops' name on this wall. Because I promise you, we die 2 deaths in our lifetime. We die our physical death, and we die the second one when no one whispers our name. It's our obligation and responsibility to continue telling the stories of those names up on the wall, to continue echoing their name, and to continue having their legacy live on.
Amen, and then some.
Yeah.
That's your recruiter speech.
Well, listen, brother, I'm gonna let you get off of here. You've been amazingly patient through this, and I appreciate you waiting to come on. Let you go spend some time with the boss that's sitting to your left side there. I have a feeling, secretary
Yes, she
my ass.
Hey, she's the HMFIC.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I can smell. Mine's got supper ready, so I better get my butt down there because anything past 7:30, and she's gonna be giving me those side eyes. So I better get down there and get me some food. Lord knows I don't need it, but I'm gonna go get some.
Yep. So the website is romanswarriorfoundation.org. All the socials are linked to that site. You can also donate off of that site. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram on Romans Warrior Foundation. Global War on Terror. He's got it all in the ticker on the bottom, as a good man does. Click it, follow, like, share. Force all your friends to like and share. Let's build up our following. We're just shy of 4,000 on the foundation page, just shy of 2,000 on the wall. Let's get our numbers up, because once you get to a certain point, they start being monetized, and then they start paying us for content. And that's one way we can help keep the wall moving as well. James, I love you, brother. I appreciate the I love you wall behind you, even though you bought them off of Temu. I'll forgive you for that.
I'll try to get a bigger wall next time. Next time we meet, maybe I'll turn sideways this way. And we can gain more. Oh, they're growing. It's growing. More lies, more lies. Don't believe it.
And that's a Bass Pro. I think I saw that at Cabela's, didn't I?
Good stuff, man. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate this. I can't wait to see you guys again. Send all of our.
You're doing great things.
Send all of our love to the entire family out there. We miss you guys, and we're looking forward to the future. And hopefully, we got some cool stuff coming down the pipe here that's going to maybe open some doors for us. I mean, you just never know. Folks at home, you've heard it. RomansWarriorFoundation.org. Go check it out. Check all the socials. We'll keep this bad boy rolling here for a little bit. And that's how we get this done. Helping is healing. Hashtag helping is healing. That's the whole point in this. If we work together, we can do some amazing things. Thank you, Brian.
Before you kick me out of here, let me say one final thing. We are a pro veteran organization. We're also a pro first responder organization, a Gold Star family organization. But the bottom line is, we just left out of June. June is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's Males Mental Health Awareness Month. We're a bunch of type A personalities, especially all y'all that jump out there in your yaks and go out there and go fishing. Trust me, man, there's nothing more calming and refreshing than getting out on the water and casting a line. Gene taught me that. My wife taught me that up in Alaska. It truly is therapeutic, and I believe in each and everything that you guys are doing. So please, if there's something that we can do for each and every one of you, reach out to us. Reach out to Gene. We have lots of different fingers and a lot of different avenues across the country. And, if you need it, reach out. Give us a call. We'll be there to help you.
Absolutely, man. We love it.
Right,
all right, brother. You
tight
take
lines.
Care, man. Yeah, that's right. Tight lines. You got it. Hell yes. Appreciate it. And don't say anything about hooks. We just leave hooks out of it. Yep.
3 years. Tight lines.
All right, brother. You take care.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Sir.
Always so awesome connecting with him. Yeah, it did take a 45-minute conversation, man, for me to realize that he and I may be relatives somewhere along the way. I love that guy to death. His family is beautiful, and they've changed our lives. There's no question about it, man.
Yeah.
And it's the twilight of my professional career. I have found purpose in real drive, and just a matter of getting creative on a few other angles. But yeah, it is definitely the kind of work that keeps you rolling out there, and it's a ton of fun. I mean, there's just no way to get around it. You know you're doing good shit. You know you're doing good things out there. So
When you're
it's
doing something you love, it's not work. I never understood that saying. It took me till like I was 40 to finally understand that.
right.
It's never about the money. If you do it because you love something, money will follow. So don't do something because of the money. Do it because of your heart. And then it's just nothing but good is going to come out of that.
Exactly. Craig, thank you so much, brother, for staying on with us
Yeah.
through here. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Brian will see that comment out there. He appreciates you following along.
Yeah.
Go
Thanks,
check
Greg.
out their socials out there as well. We'll throw that up one more time here. Folks, like he talked about, the social piece, it takes nothing to do a like and a follow and a subscribe, okay? It really takes nothing, and it is a huge help to us. We talk about trying to look for those corporate level sponsors that can help keep us on the road there. We know times are tough and we don't want to strain the individual or the family, right? Corporations many times are sitting in better situations. The larger companies, they can actually do, financially, they can help out with this. That's why we push for that so heavily, just because they're the ones that can really help us, put the get 4 or 5 months, down the road there, take care of the gas, take care of the maintenance on the RV and the trailer, and help us with those things. So for sure, just a like and a follow, man, that is a big deal. And get your family to do the same thing. Get your family and friends. Hey, you want to do something good? Help us out here, because that helps us attract those people. We can get in front of those organizations a little bit easier when they see how many people believe in the mission that we got rolling out here. So. Well, cool, man. So it's summertime fishing. We're going to wrap this thing up. It's hot fishing for a lot of people out there, but here in Colorado, we don't get a chance to fish but maybe 6 months out of the year. So we're going to fish through the summertime. I've got a couple places on the books, man. Elwood, I'm going to go check that out, man, here in the next probably week and a half, 2 weeks. I want to get over there. Nebraska is having their bass championship right there. It's going to qualify some people to send them to the national championship at Classic Week.
Yeah.
So I want to go check out that lake and see if it's going to be worthwhile. There's like one ramp there, dude. So it's going to be a shotgun start, I think, is how this works. I don't know if there's public land around that we can launch from. I don't know.
No, it's going to be one, and it's a steep ramp, is what I've heard. I mean, steep.
Right.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I've never been there, but it's going to be a fun little time. It's not a big place, so the one ramp's not really going to be a problem, especially with the allowing motors. We should be able to cover that lake if you wanted to, no problem in a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be a good time.
In Lawrence, is it Lawrence? No, Lexington, Nebraska. Which it begins with an L. It's Lawrence or Lexington, something like that.
Lexington
is like 15 minutes away, just to the north.
Yep.
Lots of hotel options, lots of food, lots of grocery. Different. Full services up there. It looks like.
Yep.
So, because I think there's like maybe one campground in the area, and they don't have rates. I think you got to call to find out rates and reserve stuff.
Elwood Park State. I don't know if it's a state park or a recreational area, whatever it is. Elwood has some camping. I know they have some cabins in there. I want to say they were like $90 a night for cabins, and they got like 3 or 4 beds just lined up for it. You can just crash like military style, right? And then north of Elwood is Johnson Lake, which has a camping area there. Now that's Party Central. That's Johnson Lake's the equivalent of Boyd for us, right? So you don't fish there. You just go around in circles and create a lot of chaos. But all the fishermen are going to. So if you're looking to camp and you can't get into Elwood, you could go up to Johnson and take a look there. They might have some camping stuff going on.
Nice. So a lot of options there. It'd be cool to help that Nebraska. I've been reaching out. I've got some responses I need to go through and read. Coming in the future, we're going to try to talk to the Nebraska Bass Club. We'll see if we can talk to the big club up there, the Sticks, have them on the show, and we'll chat with them. We've reached out to Kansas as well. I reached out to Utah, and Utah looks like they're interested in chatting with us. So we're going to try to reach out to these other clubs out there and just kind of talk with them, just talking about resources that's all around us. A little bit of driving, is not a bad thing, especially when you can go experience this stuff, man. You can't take it with you. Enjoy this stuff. Turn these things into little adventures. You just never know what you're going to find. New people you get a chance to meet. It's well worth it, right?
Yep, for sure.
So, but yeah, man. So we'll be checking out some of that stuff, and we'll send some updates here and there. Unless I find like the juice, then I'm going to tell you it sucks.
Yeah, don't go there. It's horrible.
Yeah, I would.
Quick,
never.
sign up. So if you visit and then you sign up, you don't even have to tell us if you did good. That kind of says it all right there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Paid.
Good stuff. Folks, thank you so much for sticking with us here and watching. If you're watching this thing from, we got, let's see, we got some comments here. Yeah, thank you all much. Appreciate your love of sport. Absolutely, Brother Brian.
Yeah.
James, thanks for being a good sport. He is for through and doll. He gave me that doll moment there. Love you too, man. And then, of course, yes, driving adventures. Those, oh yeah, not the Brian Romans kind of driving adventures, because that usually involves something blowing the hell up on the, on the vehicle. Poor dude, just there's some bad juju around the state of Colorado. He loves coming here because we have great support for him. But damn, poor guy ends up in our hospitals, or the RV ends up in the shop. It's just like, I don't know, just juju here that's pining against. But he and his family two-fist their way right through it, and they show up, they get the job done, and they go home.
It's the altitude, man. It kills everybody. Like you can't breathe, your truck can't breathe, nothing can breathe, your bearings can't cool down because it's 115 degrees in the shade. The birds just fall out of the sky because there's no trees to land in, right? Like.
And he does bring this up. He made it through the last visit without a hospital stay, right? Exactly.
Small victories, man. Small victories.
Exactly. So yeah, man, should be a ton of fun here. We got some cool stuff on deck. Looking forward to this. Jim, thank you so much, man, for coming in here and riding co-pilot again with this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I don't know how much input I actually put in, but I'll come up with a zinger every now and then.
That's what I'm saying. And you take fire, because if it weren't your I love me wall, it would have been my I love me wall. So yeah. I mean, you're taking shots for me, man. What a team player.
Wait till you get the bill.
That's awesome. Good stuff, man. And yeah, next week we got some guys. I forget. I think actually next week, next Monday, I think we got Great Lakes Kayak Fishing. Those guys are going to be on. We're going to talk about the Minocqua event up there, and we'll have those guys learn about their club and such. So that should be kind of cool.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Great fishing up there.
Yeah, for sure. Another place I wish I could make it to that, but we have to be careful with our schedule this year. So
yeah, I hear you
for sure. All right, brother. Well, thank you so much, folks. Make sure to smash the subscribe. That's the way you can help us the most. We appreciate you guys as always. Say bye, Jim.
See you guys.
Tie lines.
We're done.
And be safe.